Hey guys, DarkheroJosh here, and today we're going to be talking about the first fight between Arthur Boyle, the Night King, versus Dragon. But before we jump into this insane fight, I'd like to mention today's sponsor, ACG Town. Now, ACG Town is a really cool anime apparel site that sells things from hoodies, t-shirts, jackets, shorts, to even things like mugs, pencil holders, and they're pretty cool little lightbox things. Now, these also come in many different anime themes, from older series like Dragon Ball, Naruto, One Piece, the more OG favorite anime, to more recent anime like Jujutsu Kaisen, Spy X Family, etc. They also sell Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail apparel if you're more a fan of those games. But yeah, if you guys do have some time on your hands, most definitely check them out. And thanks again for them for this sponsor. Now, without further ado, let's get straight into this video. As Company 8 are fighting Stream, a specialist when it comes to dealing with fire-resistant pyrokinetics, they seem to be having a tough time, as Stream uses the air current made by his flames to produce whirlwinds and vacuums that can cut through clothes and even skin. After defeating Gold, it seems like they're going to have to find the strength in order to beat this foe. As Stream gets behind Lieutenant Hinoa, about to kill him with his headstrong Erica, we see that his attack gets knocked down. As he's confused, we then see Arthur make his entrance as he gives his name to the enemy, but later saying that he doesn't need to introduce himself to the likes of him. As Stream tells them that they should skip the formalities and get to the part where he dies at the hand of him and his four beauties, we then see him get cut by our Night King in an instant with Violet Flash, defeating him in one strike. As the enemy is confused on how Stream got defeated so quickly, the rest of Company 8 asks Arthur where he's been all this time, to where he responds that he fell from his steed, revealing that he actually did fall from the truck earlier. As Arthur looks at the remaining enemy, as he seems to be the last one to deal with, Vulcan says that he's glad that Arthur is back, thanking Tamaki for holding down the front lines, to where Tamaki says that it was nothing, asking if she can go puke now. We see the enemy tell Arthur not to think too highly of himself, but that's when we hear a voice from the top of the building shouting out the word pathetic. As Arthur looks up to see who could have said that, we then see a man jump from the top of the building, landing right in front of Arthur, creating a huge explosion shaking the ground. This man starts to speak, saying before him nothing can bar his path, and behind him he leaves nothing but ashes, as he says that his name is Dragon. As Maki tells Hinoa to stay back, Tamaki says that something is different about him. Dragon tells them to run if they're thinking about retreating, as he'll merely just need to expel his breath. Arthur asks him if he said Dragon, saying how he's finally found him at last, to where Dragon responds asking Arthur if he wishes to vanish to ashes, calling him boy. Lieutenant Hinoa and Maki then take a look at Arthur's Excalibur. As the Night King Arthur and Dragon face off, Arthur says that he's never stood face to face with a dragon before. Dragon asks Arthur if he's frightened by the force of his presence. Arthur tells Vulcan to step back, being that only a selected few warriors may stand before Dragon, to where Vulcan understands and stays back. We then see Dragon send Company 8 flying after just letting out a roar, where he then sees that the only one left standing is the Night King himself, Arthur, to where he's a bit surprised. Arthur sees that this is no ordinary dragon, as he acknowledges his massive dragonic pressure. Arthur then says to his Excalibur that they will defeat this dragon, and he'll grant Excalibur with the title of Dragon Slayer, as we see his Excalibur getting bigger after an extreme boost. We then cut to the rest of Company 8 as Sister Iris asks what that shockwave was. Licht says that he has lost their visual. We then see Vulcan on the ground, realizing that all Dragon did was exhale to create that powerful shockwave to blow them all away. But he then sees Arthur as he begins to charge at Dragon, as he hits him with a Death of Dragon's Violet Flash. In the next chapter, we see the building behind Dragon getting slashed, shocking everyone. The white-clad executioner says who knew that Company 8 had a fire soldier of this excellence, but it doesn't matter, as we see Dragon smack Arthur with his arm, sending him flying to a wall. But before Arthur hits the wall, he then slices a piece of the wall into a triangle to land on, before shortly jumping off it before it hit the other wall behind him. Dragon is impressed with the Night King, saying that he's rather skilled for a human. Arthur questions what he said, saying that he said that as if he doesn't consider himself human, to where Dragon says that he is Dragon. We see Arthur trembling with excitement as he says that he's a knight. He goes on saying that Excalibur kills in one blow and that there's no need for a second strike, but he will not make such claims when he's up against a dragon, as he calls out Dragon, saying he will not sheath his Excalibur until he has fallen, and that the Night King has resolved to fight him in earnest. Arthur then tries to hit the first strike as he tries to stab him multiple times, but it has no effect as Dragon takes a swing at Arthur, and although Arthur dodged it, he was still affected by his dragonic pressure, stating that this is true dragonic pressure. Dragon then tries to smash Arthur into the ground, but he is quick to move out of the way and try to cut Dragon's arm. Dragon says that he doesn't withdraw easily, and when he does, it's while he's counterattacking. As Arthur was pushed back, he still charges at this beast, trying to stab him once more right through his chest. But we soon see that this has no effect either. Dragon acknowledges Arthur's accuracy, saying how he aims straight for the heart, the core for an infernal, and for someone so young like himself, his skills are impressive, but he is Dragon. We then see Excalibur grow bigger in size and power, catching Dragon's eye. We see Licton Iris behind the destroyed wall as he says that Dragon is big and he looks tough, asking if Arthur will be alright. But Lick says that Arthur's ignition power depends on his imagination, and now that he's found a powerful version of his ideal opponent, his imagination will further grow, greater than before, stating that he's not sure if anyone can stop him at this point. Dragon says that the power of Arthur's flames and his command over it is on another level of a true master. As Vulcan and Maki agree that Arthur couldn't ask for a better opponent to face, we see Arthur hit Dragon with a barrage of slashes as well as rounds of shots that followed. Lisa then tells Hinawa that he should stop watching them and use his gun to back Arthur up, to where Hinawa says that he's already shot him multiple times and not just to help, but he's been shooting with the intent to kill. Hinawa tells everyone to stay close to the ground. Maki says that something isn't right, being that Dragon hasn't even counterattacked once and Arthur is still the only one getting injured. Dragon calls Arthur fragile. Arthur looks down and takes a look at himself, but we then see Dragon inhaling before he blows on Arthur, causing a massive explosion on the battlefield. As the rest of Company 8 are worried if Arthur is okay after that crazy breath attack, we then start to see the smoke clear up as we see Arthur's spine, revealing a mantle made of plasma appear on his back as he tells it to defend its Night King. Arthur says that Dragon is a true dragon, and a fearsome one at that. A dragon of such power is a dragon amongst all dragons. As Dragon asks if Arthur stopped his breath attack, Arthur says that he will defeat him and then he will be a dragon slayer. But as he's dashing to land another blow on Dragon, we see Arthur is the only one injured. Dragon says that even by his scales, he becomes this injured, calling him fragile once more. Actual scales started to appear. Lick says that he's too far away to get a good look, but he thinks that those scales are flesh of an infernal. We then see Dragon transform his arm into a claw, saying that Arthur has fought well for a human before smacking him with it, sending him flying into the wall next to Vulcan. Lick wonders what happened to his arm, as he says that it looks like one of an infernal as well. As Vulcan asks Arthur if he's okay, telling him to hang in there, Dragon says that it wasn't a bad strategy, enhancing his ignition ability with the might of his imagination, but he has yet to grasp Adola. As Arthur is confused, Dragon says that he cannot go further with only half of his power. We then see Dragon start to transform even more, where Lick comes to the conclusion that Dragon can infernalize parts of his body at will, but is in disbelief because that can't be physically possible. As Arthur slowly gets back up, he tells Vulcan to stay back. Vulcan says that he will, but he tells Arthur to be careful. Lick realizes that Dragon is more unique than he originally thought, and who he is should bring out the best of Arthur's power. Hinawa says that Dragon is too strong, but Maki asks that shouldn't fighting Dragon expand Arthur's imagination and empower him more? As Dragon tells Arthur to perish, Vulcan backs Arthur up, filling his imagination, saying that he can do it, being that Dragon is the dragon that Arthur has been looking for. Arthur says that it has come to this, talking about Dragon's extreme dragonic pressure, saying that his inner dragon possesses his outer dragon. the infamous dragon suit, stating that he's never beheld it before. Arthur says that Dragon has built up quite a lot of dragonic experience, and that if not for his Excalibur and his plasmantle he found at the volcanic maw, he'd be begging for his life right now. Dragon then asks him about the volcanic maw, saying that the mouth of a fire can only be so hot. As we see Arthur's sword and plasmantle receive a huge boost in power, growing even bigger as he calls his Excalibur Dragon Vanquishing Holy Sword, we see Vulcan and Tamaki backing up Arthur's imagination by reminding him that he is the Night King. As Arthur shouts out firmly about the sacred blow to smite the dragon as he yells Excalibur as he swings it at Dragon, we see it go terribly wrong as we see Arthur taking heavy damage, with even his dear Excalibur being destroyed in the process to pieces. As we see Arthur in despair after his Excalibur has been destroyed by this beast who bears the name of Dragon, we see that he has been slashed by Dragon, as he's shortly brought to his knees as he collapses onto the ground, revealing the winner of this first encounter fight to be the beast known as Dragon. As Company 8 sees this, we see Dragon say that Arthur isn't a dragon slayer after all. As Maki tells Arthur to hang in there, Dragon says that nothing can bar his path as he spreads his wings, stating that man is dust, scaring the rest of Company 8. As we cut to after the mission to save Captain Obi, as Company 8 are successful due to the help of Moonlight Mask helping them escape, we see Arthur walking around Asakusa for a little bit. As he eventually sits down, he then ponders about the fight with Dragon, confused on how he lost because he is a knight, as he pulls out a piece of Excalibur that he kept in his pocket. As he questions his Excalibur to really be a holy sword, we see Vulcan take the piece of Excalibur from Arthur's hand to take a look at it. As Vulcan identifies it to be a high temperature carbon that they sell at the hardware store, Arthur then says that it's orichalcum, the legendary metal that was used to forge his sword by the dwarf blacksmith. As Vulcan asks where he found this so-called orichalcum, Arthur says that he found it at Mount Volcano, and as Vulcan asks where is this Mount Volcano, Arthur admits that it was the hardware store. Vulcan says that this isn't real orichalcum, but Arthur quickly tells him to silence, asking what he even knows about it, but Vulcan tells him that he knows that it was a high temperature carbon that they sell at the hardware store. As this enrages Arthur a little bit, Vulcan picks him up. Arthur asks what his deal is, saying that he made an offense to the Night King, but that's when Vulcan says to this Night King if he wants to help him find some real orichalcum. Arthur asks what Vulcan means by this, to where Vulcan says that they are going to find a legendary metal, stating that he is going to make him a real holy sword, ending off the chapter. Hey guys, DarkheroJosh here, and that was the first encounter / fight between Arthur the Night King versus Dragon. Now for my supporters who were with me way back when I dropped the Arthur versus Dragon video, then you may be wondering why I'm making another one all of a sudden now. Well, ever since that video, I've been meaning to make a small little series with Arthur and Dragon, and all their fights pretty much. So this video is going to be the first of 3 videos, I'm pretty sure, that I'm going to make over their fight and talking about it. So I hope you Fire Force fans get hyped, because this is going to be a big journey not only for Iron Night King Arthur, but for us as well. Anyways, if you guys did enjoy this video, then please leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and comment down below what other Fire Force videos would you guys like to see me talk about next on the channel. And without further ado, I hope you guys have a great day, and see ya.